Hey, happy Friday to you. It is April 23rd and time for this week's Friday Funnies. Let me start off by wishing you a belated Happy Earth Day. Yesterday was designated as Earth Day, although it was never really specified how we were supposed to celebrate it. So I spent the day wearing my Earth shoes and listening to Earth, Wind, and Fire. And you may have done something completely different, like, plant a tree or doing something constructive. Nonetheless, we are continuing with the Earth Day theme in this week's Friday Funnies, because all of the stories about people who are earthy and are the salt of the earth. And by earthy, I mean they're people covered with earth, and by salt of the earth, I mean that it's been proven that they're bad for your heart. So that said, here are this week's Funnies. We're going to start out in Oklahoma City, where Sean McClendon was arrested this week for exposing his buttocks in a Target store. Apparently, one shopper complained that McClendon was following her around the store, and when they got to the garden section, he exposed his buttocks and, as she put it, started shaking it. Well, Mr. McClendon's attorney is claiming the highway defense, stating that Mr. McClendon suffers from a very rare ailment that makes his buttocks jump out of the pants on their own and just start shaking. So he said, in reality, it's really not his fault, it's the asphalt. Thank you. Since you like that one so much, here's another butt story for you in the news. California Highway Patrol Office in South Lake Tahoe, California, was evacuated this week when they thought that one of the guys they arrested and brought in, an arrestee as they like to call him, a guy they brought in on drug charges, they thought he was carrying a bomb. And so they called the bomb squad, and they found wires going from the man's front pocket around to his buttock region. And so they followed the wires. And they found that it led to a hidden vibrator. And when I say hidden, you know exactly what I mean. And so the bomb squad had to extract the device, and they took that out along with some spare change, car keys, and a wristwatch, which they kept as a tip for having to do a service way beyond the call of duty. Now, it is time for a Friday Funnies favorite, something we like to call News from Around the World. Our first stop is India, the entire country of India. It was reported this week that over there 564 million people, approximately 1/2 of the population, has cell phones. It was also reported that 366 million people, or approximately 1/3 of the population, has access to bathrooms. So let's say you're living over in India and you have to use the bathroom and you don't know where the nearest one is. Well, fortunately, there's an app for that. All right, from India, let's take a trip down under to Eagleby, Australia. In Eagleby, Australia, a woman engaged in an argument with her boyfriend, and he got rather upset and threw a container of petrol at her. Now, petrol is a lot like gasoline, so when he threw it on her, she sputtered and she spit and she swore at him, and then in an attempt to calm herself down, she lit a cigarette. And she flamed up like RuPaul at the dance. Yet another smoking-related injury. And for our final stop this week around the world, let's go to that bastion, that epicenter of logic and reason, Tehran, Iran. Iranian President Mahmoud Ahmadinejad this week, speaking in Tehran, told his countrymates that an earthquake is certain to hit Tehran in the future and that they should prepare to relocate. Also, a high Iranian cleric came out this week and said that earthquakes are caused by women who wear revealing clothing and behave promiscuously. That's what causes earthquakes. So the next time that you feel the earth move when you are making love, it's all because of the woman. Be sure to thank her. Hey, that's all I have for you this week. No Friday Funnies next week. We're going to be out traveling, but we will be back on May 7th. May 7th. Until then, remember the famous words of Caligula, Two's company, three's a crowd, four's a party, and five can get loud. Caligula, I don't know what that is. Anyhow, I'll see you next week.